I was young, and in love. Yet I was alone in my home, crying, completely depressed. My dreams were shattered. All I wanted was a normal life, someone to love, and to get my health back. Yet Candida symptoms made my life unbearable. Just because I was one of the millions of people around the world, suffering from Candida yeast infections. A disease that's likely to affect at least 70% of women in their lifetime. Chronic infections almost destroyed my life. They changed it in ways I thought, and hoped, were impossible. Instead of socializing and making friends, living a young woman's life, I was all alone, suffering. If I wouldn't do anything, I'm sure I wouldn't be here today to tell you my story. Everyday struggle with horrifying symptoms almost defeated my will to live. My name is Amy Jones, and just like you, I know the horrors of suffering from recurring yeast infections. I want to help you and everybody else to avoid the terror of discomfort that comes with trying to get rid of yeast infections the wrong way. With my research based on hundreds of scientific papers from top universities, my own experience, and help from my mother, I have discovered hope and shocking facts that will change the way you look at your disease. According to Carnegie Mellon University, the Department of Biological Sciences, invasive Candida causes over 10,000 deaths per year in the USA, and over 400,000 deaths per year worldwide. We all have loved ones, family, friends, that we care about, and that care about us, yet every day hundreds of thousands of people suffer from Candida complications. The CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, warns us that yeast infection leads to a virtual shutdown of various organ systems of the body. For example, the digestive system may simply stop producing vomiting or severe constipation. Extreme fatigue can expand to total muscle fragility. Body rashes can escalate into hives or boils. The circulatory system may be swamped with so much yeast that the capillaries are clogged, causing high blood pressure, numbness of extremities, and easy bruising. Candida may involve mental and physical responses as well: inability to focus, not being able to read or follow a television show, or carry on a hobby, serious forgetfulness, memory loss, and mental confusion. These frightening problems may often lead to severe depression, sleep disorders, fears, phobias, panic, anxiety attacks, irritability, violence, aggressive behavior, and even epileptic seizures and thoughts of death or suicide. Harvard University School of Medicine warns that people with chronic yeast infections, weakened immune system, and episodes of candidiasis may be more resistant to treatment, and that the disease may return after treatment ends. It's necessary to follow a universal treatment program, and not just a simple diet or a medication and supplement approach. I was terrified thinking what could happen to me in the future. I felt helpless and ashamed. I was embarrassed to involve myself in any kind of social or intimate interactions, and too embarrassed to talk to my mother and my doctor. How could I tell my friends about my condition? How could I ever get intimate with someone? My life was a disaster. My disease was not something to forget about. I was constantly being reminded of it. I just could not stop thinking what can happen to me if I could not defeat it. Candida is a complex condition. It increases the risk of chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, hyperglycemia, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, mental illness, panic attacks, anxiety, depression, blood infections, and blood poisoning. But why, with all the possible horrific risks of chronic Candida, do doctors only treat the symptoms with pills, and don't cure main cause of Candida, just like these methods, outlined in the Harvard University research, and many other scientific papers? Every year pharma companies spend over $3 billion on direct-to-consumer ads. So it's not easy to be against them. My holistic strategy won't be on the news, and you won't find it online for free anymore. This website is the only place where you can find out the truth about curing Candida yeast infections forever, without the help of expensive pharmaceutical mafia pills. Before I describe their wrongdoings, find out how I and my mother stumbled on research from top universities, and how we found a safe and easy way of solving the Candida dilemma. We have changed the treatment forever, and in a moment I'll show you how to use our scientific discoveries to cure your Candida. With this solution that I'm about to show you, you'll be able to lower the possibility of any kind of Candida yeast infection. It works by combining my special diet, detoxifying your body, stress-free lifestyle, and recovering the immune system. It's a holistic strategy, meaning it takes care of root causes of the infections. It's not just a band-aid to cover the symptoms. No more spending money on meds, supplements, and no more dangers and side effects that come with them. Watch this video presentation to the end. I'll show you the best tips and tricks I personally use to find a quick relief from symptoms. See what's inside my system, and how it helped me and many people from around the world to get rid of yeast infections. This is not another gimmick, or a magic bullet, like flimsy diets and ebooks written by someone who never suffered like we did. My ebook is based on scientifically confirmed research, conducted by top Candida specialists from top universities and research facilities from all around the world. Because of the nature of my system, based on this research and my mother's experience as a nutritionist and dietitian, if you'll start curing Candida my way, you can be sure that you're taking a big step in your journey to defeat Candida for good. Candida Holistic Protocol is easy to follow, and based on more than 100 research papers. It works without impossible levels of self-control needed to follow short-lasting hoax diets, without suffering the horrible side effects of drugs. Drugs that Big Pharma is making billions of dollars on. Drugs that will only give you a great deal of side effects. Drugs that only cover the symptoms, so you'll have to buy them over and over again. In the last 3 years, global pharma giants have paid fines to the tune of $11 billion for criminal wrongdoing, including withholding safety data, and promoting drugs for use beyond any licensed condition. Fortunately for us, natural treatment cannot be patented. Those companies are losing money every time someone looks for a different way to find out the truth about scientifically proven ways of fighting Candida. Watch this video to the end, and you'll be just weeks from getting rid of Candida. It does not matter how long you had to suffer from this horrible condition. It doesn't matter if you are male, female, young or old, or if you had vaginal yeast infection or Candida infection of a different kind, and if you had it for the first time in your life, or have recurring symptoms for years, like I did. Because in this presentation I'll show you how I was able to get rid of symptoms like abdominal pain, cramping, thrush, itching, heartburn, acid reflux, and extreme fatigue, poor memory, anxiety, depression, low sex drive, rashes, bladder infections, vaginal infections, food sensitivities, and leaky gut syndrome. Expensive meds cause all kinds of side effects, including nausea, stomach pain, itching, fever, chills, body aches, and red skin rash, seizure, kidney disease, severe dizziness, headache, tired feeling, confusion, fast heart rate, just to name some of them. You will stop worrying about risky diets, depression, sleepless nights, and stop the feeling of shame and being embarrassed to be intimate with someone you love. Think about just how much money you'll be able to save on pills. You'll remove the stress of suffering symptoms, break free from side effects of meds. Just like Julie from New York, I've had the same problems for years: depression, mental fog, aching joints, terrible PMS, and random pains in my muscle, just to name a few. I had no idea what could be the source of my health troubles. Like many others, I got no help from my doctor, and only after years of suffering I finally got my hands on your book. It's really great and very informative. I started following your program 3 weeks ago, and it's really working. I love your recipes, and the part about detoxifying the body before changing the diet. I'm really looking forward to finishing your book, and I just can't wait to be 100% Candida free. Thanks. Mia, from Frankfurt, Germany, sent me this message. Just after 2 weeks into the Candida holistic protocol, I could see major benefits. The usual symptoms like rashes, fatigue, bladder infections and vaginal infections went away, and now, after 6 weeks with your book, I have no symptoms, and I hope to stay Candida free for the rest of my life. The price of the book is nothing compared to how much I've saved on supplements and pills. This is a wonderful ebook. I just love the simplicity of your approach. I've been to countless doctors, and nothing they prescribed me worked. I've read countless posts on forums about Candida, but it only made things worse. Some of the treatments people are proposing almost got me sent to a hospital. By the way, thanks for including one of my own recipes in your diet. P.S. I've printed your book and borrowed it to my friend, and now she won't give it back. It's not your fault that you have this disease. Once you'll know the real cause of Candida, you'll no longer need meds, supplements, or crazy, unverified diets. This alone will save you a lot of money, because you, and every other patient, can spend thousands of dollars every year. If you want to do something about it, let's get started with my presentation, in which you will discover how to easily get rid of any kind of yeast infection. Let me introduce myself. My name is Amy Jones. I'm 32 years old. I'm married to the love of my life, James. I have 2 beautiful daughters, and a simple life I always dreamed about, but it wasn't always so perfect. My story is a little embarrassing, but if you are still here, there's a chance you'll know exactly what I'll be talking about. I'm sharing this story because I hope I can help. Just like you, I know how horrifying living with Candida overgrowth can be. Some years ago, I was just another teen in love, but I almost lost everything, a chance for a normal life and love, not to mention my health. I started having yeast infections when I was 17. I know it now, but back then I had no idea what it was. For many years, I was suffering the typical Candida symptoms like tiredness, brain fog, confusion, memory loss, headaches, acne, dry skin, loss of sex drive, muscle pain, dizziness, anxiety, depression, learning difficulties, sweating, mood swings, painful and heavy periods, and many more. I was young, but unable to live my life to the fullest. My psychological and physical state just went from bad to horrible. My doctor had no idea what was wrong with my health. As I've gotten older, my symptoms have only gotten worse. After years of worrying and researching everything there is about my symptoms, my mother suggested that it might be a Candida yeast infection. I took the Candida test, and it turns out she was right. I thought that I was at the end of my suffering. Finally, I knew what was wrong with me. But to my amazement, doctors offered no help whatsoever. Some of them even told me that Candida was a myth. I was too ashamed to initiate sex, and I've always felt embarrassed to explain Candida to my friends. I'd go into the details of my condition, and bring up yeast, which most people associate with vaginal infections. Not a sexy topic when trying to make plans. I had to worry what to eat, what to do, which meds to take, which side effects to pay attention to. Some drugs made me feel better for a short while, but then the symptoms of my infections would come back, multiplied by side effects of the pills I thought were the only solution. I was taking pills to deal with side effects of other pills. Every day, I felt tired and foggy. It felt like hell. No one, including doctors, could help me with my condition. Anxiety, chest pains and difficulties breathing were a normal part of my day. Even when I was between infections, I was anxious, because I knew it's going to happen again. During a 1-year period, I could have up to 10 yeast infections. I was terrified, always worrying, day and night. What will happen to me if I couldn't take care of my condition? How much longer will I have to suffer? I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. I was spending thousands of dollars every year on drugs like diflucan, nystatin, monostat, chioconazole, and many more, not to mention popular diets and supplements. I almost went crazy in the process because of all the side effects of the pills. Even when drugs helped to cover the symptoms, the side effects were even worse. Supplements, pills, and diets never really helped, and I felt even worse and weaker from taking them. A study, conducted by researchers from CDC, shows that once in the bloodstream, Candida can be resistant to antifungal agents, and can spread all through the body, compromising the following systems: digestive, circulatory, respiratory, endocrine, nervous, reproductive and immune. Candida may involve mental and observable responses like inability to pay attention, forgetfulness, memory loss, mental confusion. These frightening problems may often lead to severe depression, sleep disorders, irrational thoughts, fears, phobias, panic and anxiety attacks, aggressive behavior, and even epileptic seizures, and thoughts of death or suicide. So, why are physicians around the world ignoring the suffering of millions of people tortured by this condition? Perhaps as sinister as any aspect of the drug business is how Big Pharma has completely taken over the FDA. A recent Harvard study slammed the FDA, making the accusation that it simply cannot be trusted because it's owned and operated by Big Pharma. I would lose the best years of my life and my health because of those companies, if it wouldn't be for the scientifically proven holistic system I have discovered while investigating my condition. I've made a decision. My life is too important to me and my loved ones. I have to find out everything there is about this condition. My mother and I started researching. She's a specialist on diet and nutrition, but she also used to be one of the many sufferers of this disease, just like me. We started gathering all the info we could find. We looked through thousands of research papers, methodical investigations, and scientific publications. We've read all books and systems we could find. Vast majority were only diet-based, which simply can't fight the main cause of Candida alone. But two of the research, one by University of Wisconsin Department of Medicine, and the second one authored by researchers at University of Maryland, astonished us in the simplicity of their approach. Their research included pharmacologic and clinical outcome studies, and provided updated recommendations for diagnosis and treatment of invasive candidiasis. Both of these research were published in many science magazines and reviews. One of the studies is based on combining a holistic approach to curing Candida. The second one focuses on the anti-Candida diet. Both of them completely stopped yeast infections in all of their patients, but were unable to stop them from chronically reappearing. Their teams have, however, established the link between Candida yeast infections and the importance of reducing stress, detoxifying the body and maintaining a healthy immune system and combining it with an anti-Candida diet. We know that candidiasis infections are caused by more than 200 species of Candida, most notably by Candida albicans, but for many years, there was no clear answer on how to stop them from reappearing in patients' body. It's necessary to follow specific steps and to allow your body to slowly adapt to changes made by detoxifying your body. One of the researchers designed a special meal plan and shared it with his patients, all with different types of infection. The results were amazing. All of his patients started to feel better, and were observing all of the symptoms of Candida yeast infections going away, day after day, patient by patient. By the end of applying this strategy, all of their patients got completely rid of their infections. Combining both research was a scientifically proven way of treating this condition, and keeping Candida albicans and other types from causing chronic infections. Using both strategies together completely stopped the disease from re-emerging. All of their patients were able to stop taking meds, saving money and avoiding side effects of pills in the process. I was amazed when I read this research. The results were astonishing. I had to know everything about it. Then I realized that one of these research papers is 4, and the other one 5 years old, but none of the doctors I knew have ever told me about them. So why I was never told about this easy-to-follow holistic strategy, and instead I was prescribed costly drugs. My doctor, together with many others, only wanted to cover the warning signs my body was giving me, because he was sure that it's the only available solution. But it's not a real cure. Years of using prescribed drugs and supplements drove me crazy, and only made things worse with side effects and huge costs. The root cause of this disease was not taken care of, and without taking care of the root cause of the Candida infections, it's only possible to permanently damage your body. The most important question is, why no one ever told me that there is a safe alternative to drugs and uncertified supplements that cost a fortune. Global pharma industry made $1,057.2 billion last year. Big Pharma has racked up fines of more than $11 billion in the past 3 years for criminal wrongdoing, including withholding safety data and promoting drugs for use beyond their licensed conditions. In all, 26 companies, including 8 of the 10 top players in the global industry, have been found to be acting dishonestly. According to U.S. investigators, GlaxoSmithKline routinely bribed doctors with luxury vacations and paid speaking gigs, fabricated drug safety info, and lied to the FDA, deceived regulators about the effectiveness of its drugs, and relied on its deceptive practices to earn billions of dollars selling potentially dangerous drugs to unsuspecting consumers and medical patients. And this is just the part they got caught doing. GSK doesn't even deny any of this. The company simply paid the $3 billion fine, apologized to its customers, and continued conducting business as usual. Natural treatments won't make Big Pharma mountains of money, like selling pills does. You have to take some meds for your whole life. It's a gold mine for pharma companies. I felt abandoned. If it wouldn't be for my mother, I would have given up. I've decided to create a holistic system based on all of the research I've described, and test it on myself. It worked almost perfectly. The only problem was that the diet outlined in the research was only possible to be followed under strict conditions, and the detox, stress, and immune system parts were too complicated to follow outside the lab. I knew I had to make the research more straightforward and possible to follow at home. I wanted to get rid of this disease. No more outbreaks, no more infections. I have inspected this research and many others to find out what exactly could keep my disease from returning. My mom helped me with balancing the diet plan so it would be easy to follow. She also helped me in creating 184 recipes, which are balanced exactly like the meals prepared in the research. Together with my mother, after many tests, we have discovered the perfect diet plan, a list of do's and don'ts that work great with my simple tricks I have also included in my book. The perfectly timed detox schedule, tasty 184 recipes, immune system boost, and a no-stress guide to stop yeast from coming back. After 2 weeks of using my simplified, holistic strategy, keeping to do's and don'ts, and using some of my tricks and tips, I started feeling much better, and I could feel that my symptoms are going away. After 7 weeks, there were no signs of my Candida infections, and I felt better than ever in my life. We were happy and excited. I decided to talk with my friends, who also suffered from Candida infections, to share great news. They could not believe how great I felt, and how good my health was. I've been friends with them for years, so they knew exactly how bad and persistent my infection outbreaks could be. It was a miracle. We were happy and enthusiastic. They started asking me all kinds of questions about the changes I've made to stop my chronic yeast infections. At this moment, I knew this really was the end of drugs, side effects, symptoms, and embarrassment. I wouldn't have to be ashamed of my body ever again. I could finally live a normal life. I came back home, and I called my mother. We talked for hours. I told her how amazed my friends were. We decided we must talk about our discovery with everybody who wants to listen. I decided to share my system and my research with people who I knew had the same problem I did. Family and friends, they all felt benefits of my system after only a couple of weeks. It was amazing. My next step was to go online, forums, discussion boards, emailing whoever wanted to know more. I gave away my full system. The research by scientists from Harvard University, Maryland and Wisconsin universities, Cornell University Medicine College, American Society for Microbiology, and many more, my own research based on hundreds of scientific papers, my tips and tricks, do's and don'ts, the parts about detoxifying your body, reducing stress and repairing the immune system, and the diet plan that my mother helped to create, together with 184 recipes. All of this knowledge combined in my system assured that yeast would go away. I was able to combine it to a simple PDF file, for easy sharing and reading. I was determined to share the truth, and my Candida Holistic Protocol System, because that's what I decided to call it. Almost immediately, people started contacting me, thanking me for sharing my ebook. People from all around the world thanked me for giving them the ultimate, simple and easy to follow system to get rid of Candida. I felt great that this group of people who trusted me could benefit greatly from my knowledge, and I want you to be one of the people I can help. Let's see what's inside my 375 pages long ebook. Page 11. The basic information chapter will teach you the most important facts you simply have to know to efficiently fight Candida yeast infections. Scientific research in this part is adapted for easy reading. Diet information on page 43 debunks many myths about one of the most important parts of getting rid of Candida. Master Cleanse cheat sheet on page 128 is a quick reference guide for preparing a delicious detox refreshment. My delicious 184 recipes start on page 245. You'll find easy to make breakfasts, lunches, dinners, soups, snacks, smoothies, salads, desserts, and many more. All of the ingredients that are used in my recipes are easily obtainable at your local grocery store. The part about chronic infections starts at page 81, and is crucial in understanding how to get rid of Candida. On page 86 I have included my top anti-Candida tips and tricks, to easily and quickly alleviate the most common symptoms. How to detoxify your body in a safe and tested way for a bunch of benefits in battling infections, page 92. Immune system recovery, page 129, will advise you on holistic changes needed to get your body ready for life-changing Candida elimination. Stress and Candida connection explained on page 151 is a crucial guide on removing stressful situations from your life, to greatly help in making it easier and Candida-free. On page 70, I will show you how to make easy changes to your lifestyle, so that getting rid of Candida will take a lot less time. Probiotics chapter starts on page 174, and is a great introduction to an often omitted important part of fighting Candida infections. 24 hours rapid relief guide on page 88 is a must-have for every Candida sufferer. My 90-day holistic strategy is explained on page 217. It will guide you through my easy-to-follow system. My sample meal plans are a great way of quickly planning your daily meals. You'll find them on page 347. All of your questions are answered in the question and answers part on page 352. The key to getting rid of yeast infections is a holistic strategy that blends all of the necessary elements to combat the root cause of this disease. No more drugs, no more side effects, no more feeling embarrassed, no more spending hundreds of dollars on pills. Stop applying a band-aid, and instead, start a real change to cure your Candida infection right now. How fast can you expect results? I've started feeling better in a matter of days, but it was only the beginning. After the first 2 weeks I've stopped feeling tired and depressed. My body started responding to the treatment by repairing itself from the inside. Every day some of the symptoms of Candida infections went away, never to come back. I can't guarantee that you will get the same results, but it sure has helped me and many other people who got their hands on my book. Untreated, yeast infections can lead to devastating chronic fatigue syndrome, kidney disease, depression, anxiety, and many more horrific illnesses. If you want to join the group of many people that followed my system and got cured, then get your copy now. Start your journey today. If you're still here, it means you understand the benefits of being in this exclusive group of people. Remember, after starting my system you will fix your body to resist infections, not just cover the symptoms. By attacking the real cause of the disease, you won't have to go through pain and embarrassment ever again, and you can say goodbye to your doctor's expensive drugs and useless supplements forever. I'd love to share my system for free, just like I did before, with my friends, family and many people online. I'd love to give it away for free to everybody suffering from this dreadful disease, so they could live a normal life again, symptoms and drugs side effects free. If I would be able to do this, I would. If I had enough money to pay for all of the expenses like servers and this web page, I would just give it away, but the reality is that we are facing some huge pharmaceutical companies, and their advocates. Sharing something for free on online forums is not a sure way of reaching enough people anymore. Many of my old posts and files I've shared are no longer available to the public. This website is the only safe way of sharing my and my mother's hard work, and reaching everybody who needs help. I've used to give all of the info in my ebook for free, but a lot of people I've talked to about my ebook told me that they don't want to believe in its value, because in their opinion free equals low quality, and they were always looking for a catch. That's why I really need your help with giving me an honest price to cover the costs of servers and this website. Considering the monthly cost of drugs, the price for my Candida holistic protocol system is more than fair. Big Pharma is spending billions of dollars every year on advertising, and I just can't compete with them by sharing my book on public forums. You will save a lot of money if you'll make the decision now. For a nominal payment of just $37, I'll give you my full holistic system to defeat yeast infections. For this small amount of money, I'll be able to keep my website up, so I can continue to share my ebook with everybody who needs it. My system is available only here, only now, for a discounted price. Yes, it's true that this ebook is worth more, but unlike huge pharma companies, I'm not okay with taking all your money. Considering the cost of continually treating symptoms with pills, and spending money on doctor visits, you can save thousands of dollars every year. This little investment of $37 will allow you to start a new life, Candida yeast infections free. You can start right now, and you can be free of this disease. My 90-day-long treatment costs you only 41 cents per day, not counting the gifts. Remember how good it felt to be healthy and full of life. Imagine what you can do with all the money you'll save on pills and doctor visits. Imagine how much more time you'll be able to spend with friends and family, following your hobbies, living life. It's time to stop the embarrassing condition that's slowly damaging your body. Click the button below to add Fight Yeast Infections to your cart, and gain instant access to my holistic program. You can download my system immediately, and start reading it in a matter of minutes. It's in a form of a PDF file, so it's easy to open on every device. You can read it on your PC, Mac, mobile phone, or you can even print it, like many of my readers, so you can read it whenever you want. Our website guarantees safety, and my 60-day no questions asked refund policy makes everything transparent and risk-free. Hurry! It can be your only chance for a natural cure. Let's hear what some of the people I've helped have to say about my system. Megan, from Abilene, Texas said this: I got my first vaginal infection 1 year ago. It was the most embarrassing thing ever. I found your book on one of the online forums. A lot of people were recommending it, so I gave it a go. Less than 30 days made a huge difference. My symptoms slowly started to fade away, and I saved a lot of money on meds. It's true that a diet alone will not help, but all the parts of your book are helping. I've stopped having rashes and skin problems, and I've lost 15 pounds, which is also great. I feel lucky that I got my hands on your book. Hope more people will read it. Chris from Washington, D.C. I was lucky enough to know exactly what was wrong with my body. My father is a doctor, so he was able to tell me that I had Candida albicans infection, but he couldn't help me with curing it. Even his doctor friends specializing in this subject told me that it's not possible to cure it. It's only possible to treat it with diet and supplements, which I know now, thanks to you Alice, is not true. I can only hope other people who suffer from chronic yeast infections will find your book, because I know it works, and I know the horrors of living with this disgusting disease all too well. Thanks for emailing me and answering my questions, I really appreciate it. Thomas from Los Angeles, California, wrote me this message: going from one doctor to another, spending literally hundreds of dollars, and not feeling any better, made me think. I started telling my friends, as embarrassing as it is, about my problems, and one of my friends told me about your system. He finished your program some time ago, and never again had to worry about his symptoms. I thought it was too good to be true, but hey, what did I had to lose after countless years of suffering yeast infection symptoms almost every day? I'm so glad I gave it a try. It opened my eyes on my mistakes. Your book helped me a lot in understanding what's really going on with my body. It's been 2 months since my last infection. I feel wonderful, and no more fatigue or depression. All of my friends have noticed the difference. Thanks a lot Alice. That's just a small part of all the people my system worked for. I've shared with you proof that Candida Holistic Protocol simply works, and now you can start following my system in less than 3 minutes after completing the secure payment. And if you don't like it, you are protected by my 60-day, no questions asked money-back guarantee. Yes, that's right. If for any reason my system is not working for you, even if it has worked for many people, you'll get every cent of your money back. When was the last time your doctor or a drug company gave you your money back? If you want to make the best decision of your life, click the button below, and let's get started. Think about your love life, your friends and family, and most importantly, about your health and well-being. What if you won't make any changes? More and more drugs and scam diets will cost you a fortune, and your health. Not to mention that Candida yeast infections lead to asthma, allergies, food sensitivities, leaky gut syndrome, rashes, heartburn, thrush, extreme fatigue, severe depression, sleep disorders, phobias, panic, and anxiety attacks. I know just how bad it is, because it was my story as well, before I made the biggest change in my life, and got rid of my yeast infections. You can change your life. You can stop the constant embarrassment. You can cure this disease. You can live a healthy life with your family, friends, and people you love, not having to constantly worry about shameful symptoms and costly meds. How much more do you want to suffer? Get your life back. Start smiling again. click the button below to start the real change. I know, you might have some questions, so let me answer the most popular ones right now. I have a busy schedule. Will this take much of my time? Not at all. It takes 90 days to complete the program. It makes only positive changes to your body, providing less stress and healthier, more balanced diet and habits to easily defeat your condition. My ebook will teach you how to holistically start the necessary changes. I've had yeast infections for years. Is your system going to work for me? Yes. It doesn't matter for how long you have been struggling with infections. I've had them for more than 10 years, and still managed to get cured using the Candida holistic protocol. I've helped a lot of yeast infection sufferers. Many of them were struggling with symptoms for more than 5, 10, 15, or even 20 years. I'm a man. Is your system going to work for me as well? Definitely. Our bodies are different, but my system will allow you to get rid of yeast infections. Many of the people who I have shared my system with and helped were men. Because of the way Candida holistic protocol works, there's no difference who or why uses it. Does it really work? Yes, virtually every person who started using my system, which is based on scientific research, my own analysis and improved by my mother's experience as a nutritionist and dietitian, was able to see noticeable health benefits and be yeast infections free for the rest of their life. It's based on hundreds of hours of research and hundreds of scientific papers from the top universities and scientists. See the full list of scientific reference at the bottom of the page. How long does it take to start working? Depending on your genetics, how severe your condition is, and how devoted you are to the system, you should start feeling better in a matter of days. Week after week you'll clearly feel the benefits and changes your body will go through. The whole system is 90 days long, because that's how long it takes to get rid of yeast infections. It's a life-changing holistic system, slowly curing your body from Candida yeast infections. Is it scientifically proven? Yes. It's mainly based on research conducted by scientists from University of Maryland and the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine, but also on more than 150+ scientific papers on the broad subject of yeast infections. All of the scientific reference is available at the bottom of the site. I've spent hundreds of hours with my mother reading, researching, and conducting our own tests, making sure that my program will work for you. My mother is a nutritionist and a dietitian, who has years of experience in creating diet plans that are based on latest research and nutritional science. It's not simply a diet, it's a holistic system focusing on Candida-fighting foods, immune system, detoxifying your body, and stress-free life. All of the parts of my book are based on scientific research conducted by top universities. How difficult it is. Considering the health benefits and freedom from dangerous symptoms, it's not that difficult. Considering the life-threatening side effects of all the drugs you would have used, it's not that difficult. Considering all the money you would spend on doctor visits and prescription drugs, it's not that difficult. You will have to give up some of your favorite foods for some time. But fortunately my mother helped me with preparing a progressive meal plan that's full of tasty recipes. The Candida Holistic Protocol is full of guides and tips on how to successfully stick to my holistic program for 90 days. In fact, it will make your life easier, removing the burden of constant fatigue, depression, and many other symptoms from your shoulders. Living a normal life again is within your reach. If you have any other questions about my best-selling holistic program, I'm sure you'll find an answer inside my book. See you there in a minute.